2018 marks the 50th anniversary of transplant surgeries at UAB. Over the years, UAB has become recognized around the world for their history in drug development and for employing prominent physicians within the transplant field. They continue to lead the way in transplant innovations, with hundreds of success stories coming out of the research hospital each year.
But it's been 50 years of doing transplants in Alabama, which is one of the longest histories of any transplant program in the country. And a lot of programs have ups and downs, and UAB has always done a good job of trying to avoid the valleys and just run an outstanding program throughout these 50 years.
Dr. Devin Eckhoff is the director of UAB's transplant division. He says that UAB transplants about 300 kidneys and 120 livers every year. That means that these life-saving operations happen every day at UAB.
It's really kind of like we call happy medicine, because these people get a second chance on life, and a lot of these people have been staring death in the eye, and they're just waiting for that phone call.
William Merriweather knows what it's like to receive that kind of life-changing phone call. His wife of 42 years was on dialysis for 3 years before receiving the gift of life from a donor.
She said, "I got a kidney. You need to come home. You need to come and get me."
Merriweather remembers making the 40-minute drive to his house in record time.
It was a sense of joy because she didn't have to go to the dialysis center anymore. To this day, I would like to see that person if I could find that person, because you gave her a few more years of life, and you gave me more joy. It was joy to watch her when she got her kidney.
With her new kidney, his wife Sadie lived 17 more years.
When you give life, that's a beautiful picture. Most pictures are in a square, but if you look at that person who is the recipient of a kidney, of a heart, of a liver, it's joy.
That sense of joy is also often felt from donor families. Jennifer and John Graham's 7-year-old son, Jack Henry, drowned in the spring of 2017. After 3 days in the hospital, the accident left their son brain dead. Jennifer and John knew, without question, they wanted to donate his organs. Both of Jack Henry's kidneys went to adults in Alabama. His liver went to a child in New York City, and his heart went to a 5-year-old in Florida.
For both of us, for reasons that are really just quite impossible to articulate, for his heart to go to another child was just crucial to us, to our spirit. We just needed that to happen.
No one wishes a tragedy to happen, but out of that tragedy, whatever it is, some good comes out of it, and it can help 2, 4, 6, 8 more people.
He is still living on through someone else.
It's very common for adults to say, "Oh yes, I'm an organ donor." But what is not so common is for parents of healthy children to have a conversation when the children are healthy and all is well. To have that conversation as parents to say, if we were in this situation, would we be able to do it? Would we want to do it? If you can make that decision before you are ever faced with making that decision, then your decision's already made.
Yeah.
Dr. Eckhoff says that he sometimes hears of people not choosing to become an organ donor because of the urban legend that doctors might not do everything in their power to help you if you're sick. It was important to him for us to include his response to that myth.
That's a whole different group of physicians that takes care of you when you roll in as a trauma to the ER. Their whole focus and their livelihood and their egos is all tied into saving that person's life, and they'll do everything in their power to save that person's life. The transplant surgeons and people involved in donation are not even involved, and they don't even look at that until the person goes to brain death or is severely injured and the question of donation comes up.
To become an organ donor is easy. Give the gift of life by signing up with Alabama's Organ and Tissue Donor Registry. You can find that link at uabmedicine.org/transplant50. Or you can register to be an organ donor when you renew your Alabama driver's license. In Birmingham, Lillian Lalo, CBS 42 Living Local.